King. All right. So, hello, this is William Hiley from St. Matthew's Catholic Church, and I run the Faith Formation program for the pre-K through 5 ages. And I'm here today with a participant, family or a fellow member of our family faith formation program, Stephen Kruk. He was involved this past year through the tumultuous times of COVID-19 and when we switched online and offline and on again. And he just, I invited him to share some of his experience with working with St. Matthew's this past year, and he was kind enough to oblige. So he just has some words to share with us about the impact this has made in his life and the life of his family. And I look forward to hearing a little bit more about what Steve has to say. So, Steve?
Yeah, well, thank you very much, William, for the introduction. I do appreciate it. And again, thank you for all that you and Teresa and Tim do. And I know there's several others, but all that you guys do for the Faith Formation program. It's been a great experience for our family. So, yeah, if I can just talk a little bit about my own personal experience. We actually are from Michigan. We did move to Gillette, Wyoming about 2 years ago now, and pretty much simultaneously, we got our family registered at St. Matthew's and got the kids in the religious education program. And again, both years were great. However, I would say there was a pretty big distinction from year 1 to year 2, and it was that first F in the FFF, which was family. We talked about family faith formation. So again, while it wasn't bad or I didn't have any negative experience the first year, I would say the biggest difference was the emphasis on family and truly making that an entire family experience that the religious education, quote unquote, teachers, if you will, wouldn't be and shouldn't be necessarily the only ones that are teaching our kids their faith. And again, just in complete honesty, when we first made that shift, I was a little skeptical, right? I was an individual that I'm like, well, you know what? I already went through all this. I already went through years of faith formation. And obviously, it probably was a little bit more strict in my time period. It was a lot more regimented. I don't necessarily think that was the right way, but that's just the way it was. But I didn't want to go through that again, right? Maybe it was me being complacent, me being lazy, me not truly having God as that central point, directing me where I need to go. But again, I didn't want to bail or leave as a result of that. I tried to just have an open mind going into the program that, hey, you know what, we're going to do what is being asked or what's being required of us through this family faith formation program. But again, I was just kind of sitting to myself. I've already gone through all this. I've made all my sacraments. This is more about the kids. Let them do it. Let them take up, an evening once a week or once a month or whatever it was. And let's just let it be that way. But I noticed very quickly, we were being, in a very healthy way, we were being challenged in our faith. We were being challenged to ask more questions, to learn more, to share experiences with others. And I quickly realized the importance of that and how much I personally needed that, in addition to the others around me, our community members, and how much, without leaning on each other, we leaned on each other. We didn't really know one another at the start of the year. Maybe we saw each other in mass and maybe we waved, but we didn't know each other by name and kind of what our experiences were, what the crosses were that we had in our lives, because we all have them. Some more than others, and I know me, we either choose to lay them down and push them off to the side and deal with them later, or we say, okay, you know what, it's time to focus on that. But I truly feel, obviously, we need that Holy Trinity. That's our starting point, but we do need community. We do need people around us to help either carry that cross or to direct us how to make that an easier burden. And I noticed that pretty much from the start, just experiences. Obviously, with your class, we did some discussion. We answered questions. We looked at some artwork and kind of the significance to that. But then we had that group time discussion. And again, that goes back to my original point. So I think everybody, at least I kind of got that feel that everybody was a little hesitant, right? That maybe didn't want to be so vocal, didn't really want to share experiences. But as we all kind of opened up to each other, you realize, wow, okay, so they're bearing some of the same crosses that I was bearing. We're leaning on each other. We both feel better about this. We're both increasing our faith in the process. It was a win-win for everybody. So I would say and I know COVID-19 hit, I think early March was probably our last meeting in person. But I think from that September, October time period through March, you almost saw a transformation in the class. You saw people excited to be there, excited to be mentally, verbally engaged with those around them, and to hear these other experiences of faith and how people were being guided by their faith, how they bared their crosses in one way or another that ultimately strengthened them. I think that was pretty powerful. So for me, it was a fantastic experience. I know obviously there was a hiccup there with COVID-19, but even then you saw the participation virtually and people that, yes, they weren't in person, but we were still sharing those experiences, whether it be a testimonial. I know I did one and several other members did, which was great to hear from them, or even just typing responses, listening to your presentation, listening to guest speakers. We still felt that. So maybe we didn't have that interaction where you're sitting right next to somebody, but there was still benefit to that as well. So overall for me, it was a great experience. While I've been here, my daughter actually just made confirmation with Intimatry, so we're fantastic. So she just did that. Last year, my son was confirmed, and my youngest son was baptized, and that all happened at St. Matthew's. So we have a lot of positive experiences. We have a lot of sacraments that we were able to share and witness being at St. Matthew's. So for us, it was just an overall great experience. And again, even with my personal situation, we actually will be moving out of state again. But as I told William, that I would love to be part of it somehow, some way, whatever that means, virtually, and contribute in any way possible. Because again, just kind of circling back, I think the one really good thing that this program did, and obviously William and Teresa and Tim had a very large part in that, was to challenge us, to get us thinking more about our faith. And that's where I am now. And William had asked me to do a couple things that maybe normally I wouldn't have just said yes to right away, even if it was just it seems so small that maybe it was just a written or a verbal testimonial, but that you're being asked to do something for your faith, for God. And if this is some of again, they're so small, they're so minute, but if these are just little small ways that somebody like myself can really almost give back to that faith community, I'm happy to do it. And that's one thing that I've actually self-evaluated over the course of this last year, is just these small contributions that I can make to the faith community, and what I'm being asked to do compared to what Jesus on that cross is being asked to do. There's absolutely no comparison. So like I said, for us, it's been a great experience, and I want to continue to help in any way that I can, because it truly has been very an enriching experience for our family as a whole.
Thank you, Steve. Those kind words, I'm like flattering almost, like you're like, oh man, thank you so much.
They're true. They're true.
I appreciate you. If just one closing thought, if you had one thing, like if you were talking to somebody who was on the fence about faith formation this year, I mean, it's a year when a lot of priorities are challenged, a lot of things are kind of up and down. What would you say to the one person who is like kind of on the fence about this whole ordeal?
I guess I would have that person, I would almost put it on them a little bit and just say, maybe when you are just in prayer or kind of just self-evaluating privately, do you want to be challenged in your faith? All of us, we do get complacent, we do get lazy, and that's a hard thing to admit. Okay, so but I would have that person challenge themselves to say, am I really doing enough? And I don't know if that question ever is yes. You might be getting closer and closer to the ultimate goal, but are you ever really there? And if you're not, which we're not, we're human beings, we sin, we make mistakes. If you're not there, what can you do to increase it? And I think this is one small way. I don't want that term to be used lightly, but just one small way to begin increasing your faith, to begin helping community members. So that's the one piece of advice that because again, I think in life, not just in our faith, but in every aspect of life, school, job, sports, it's not rewarding and gratifying if you're not all in. It's not rewarding and gratifying if there's not challenges along the way. To just go through the motions, I just don't think that there is that satisfaction there. Certainly spiritually, right? Like it's almost like in your heart, in your soul, something is missing. And that's one small way that I think an individual and or a family can take to just be more involved, to share some experiences, to again, okay, maybe you're helping somebody else carry their cross, but somebody else is helping you too. So that would be my one piece of advice, or to just challenge somebody that maybe this is a small way that they can increase their faith.
Goodness, thank you, Steve. I love that. It's time to just go all in. And I think of all times, now is the time to go all in what matters. And, I'm grateful for you and taking the time and the energy to invest in us and in this community as well. So thank you for being here with us today. And well, challenged everyone out there, anyone who's listening, that if you are looking to go all in the right places, to develop yourself and grow your faith, just check us out, and we want to be there to come alongside you and help you grow. So thank you, Steve.
Amen to that.
We'll see you all later. Thanks.
Okay. Thank you, William. Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.